Okay, good afternoon. You are at an Economic Development Committee meeting for the City of Wausau. Today is Tuesday, July 1st, 5:30 p.m. with a quorum present. I will call the meeting to order. First up on the agenda is public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment? Nope. Okay, then next on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the May 6th, 2025 and the June 3rd, 2025 meetings. Any alders, any committee members have any questions, comments? None. Okay, so then we have a motion by Alder Gisselman, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Second by Alder Henke. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay, so that motion passes. The minutes are approved and will be placed on file. Third on the agenda is an update on the Foundry on Third progress by Development Director Feifrick.
Thank you, Chair. The Foundry on Third and really our whole downtown area has been transformed over the summer. If you're down there trying to get around, it's been a bit of a headache with construction and everything, but everything's moving along quite nicely at this point. I don't want to say it, but the streets and utilities is actually ahead of schedule. So with me saying that, that'll probably set us back now, but hopefully that continues to move forward. The Foundry on Third building as well has been going up over the last year now. We had an opportunity, the mayor toured the building with Terrence Wall from T-Wall about 2 weeks ago now. We have some rough footage from that, so we just kind of to walk through that. Andy's going to narrate that a little bit as we go. It's about a 3-4 minute video. And then if we get Nick Patterson from T-Wall, he can also give a little update on their progress. So.
There we go. Okay, I may be speaking quickly as we go here. This is just a short video where we have 4 minutes. So you're very familiar with the exterior shots we've all seen of the Foundry building, including the streets, and actually now the streets are even further along than what we were, and obviously they're working on the facade there. But yeah, we had a chance to tour the building, and so this is over on the east side, so you can kind of see the courtyard area there. We're going to enter into the north side commercial spaces. This is kind of the commercial space towards 3rd Street, and if you look on the right side there, kind of in the distance, you see a doorway kind of on an angle, and that's the door that opens onto the 3rd and Washington intersection. So it's kind of a big open commercial space ready for a tenant. This is a hallway that's a little less finished. And again, one of the units that's a little less finished. Looking at some of the kitchen cabinets there, I can definitely say that there's definitely some choices made with quality in mind with a lot of the fixtures and finishes in these units. This is a studio unit here where the bed is kind of more separated from the rest of the area, and just provides a little bit more separation instead of a typical wide open studio. This is one that faces into the courtyard and has that, I think they're called Juliet balconies. And yeah, it's kind of a nice environment. Obviously, yeah, still a work environment, plenty of materials everywhere. This is a unit here that's a little bit more finished. And you'll be able to see here in a second, the bathroom is, looks like it's pretty much ready to move in. And generally the south side of the building, which is the building section that was constructed first, is more complete than the north side. So for example, this is the south side on the 2nd floor on the southwest corner. As you can see, the home furniture store across the street there. And just kind of the view you would get out of that balcony. Really nice space, a lot of light. And that's the kitchen area there for that unit. Again, I think there's a lot of really good quality choices made with quality in mind. This is the skywalk over to the parking ramp and one of the more completed hallways. I think we're probably up on the 5th floor now. Yep. So this is 5th floor in the southwest corner. And this unit is pretty much at the point where they're just doing the small final touches to get it finished. And you can see the view of Rib Mountain in the distance there. Then to the west, the city and the rest of the mall site there, as well as you can see there's Washington Street. This is in the northwest corner, so you overlook downtown. That's 3rd Street. You're looking above the umbrellas, which is kind of neat. So then this is also on the interior where the courtyard is. And then we go down to the basement where the parking garage is. Something that they noted is that they ended up painting the walls and the columns, I believe, white to allow for more reflective light, just make it a brighter space. But yeah, that's the quickest 4 minutes video. We just really want to kind of give a taste of that. There'll be some more of that coming out here in the future, but we're trying to be easy on our videographer as far as putting something together quickly for us. So, yeah, looks like we have Nick online too. And Nick, I just did a quick 4-minute run through of a video of our tour, and got to show some of the great sites and some of the really neat work that you guys are doing. So.
Nick, do you have anything that you want to add?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I that's my first time seeing that video. That's very cool. Appreciate you putting that together. So I didn't catch. I had trouble logging on, so I didn't catch the beginning of that. But yeah, I just wanted to provide a brief update. So apologize if you have heard some of this already and taken it from the video, but. We're about 75% complete with the building. So the south half of the building is further along than the north half. South half, we have 5th floor units are completed, and we're doing punch list work on floors 1 through 4. So we're starting 4th floor is owner's punch list work, and then we're working down from there. So the next floor to be finished with the 4th floor will be the 4th floor, and then the 3rd floor from there. North half of the building, we're doing trim and hardware on the 5th floor, carpet on the 4th floor, and working our way down from there. So the first portion to be completed would be the south portion, and probably the last portion to be completed will be the north half of the building, probably 1st and 2nd floor. But things are coming along nicely. The only unfortunate part was that we had some materials that had been delayed. One was countertops, which were stuck at port. I don't know. What I had heard was that it's because of the tariffs, and there was a dispute on the price with the tariffs and everything. Anyways, one of those things that you really can't anticipate. But other than that, and then there was a little bit of a delay on our masonry work on getting the brick manufactured. But other than that, everything is going along fairly smoothly. It just, because of those 2 material delays, it also delayed some of our trade work from getting in. But other than that, we're still slated to complete the project before the end of the year, and just need a little extra time to get that done. But other than that, everything's going along great, and it's going to be a really cool project once it's all said and done at the end of the year.
Does anybody have any questions specific to the update?
Alder Killian?
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I did have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Lynch today. I just want,
If this is about the amendment, let's hold that for the next item.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's about the amendment.
Okay. Well,
Shall I wait?
yeah, I think that'd be more
All right,
appropriate
sorry.
given the
So
agenda. Yeah.
oh, that's okay. So
Oh.
this would be on the update,
Yeah.
correct? On agenda item 3.
All right.
Or 4, yeah.
Was yours on The agenda item 4? Okay, so I guess none on agenda item 3. Any questions on that? Alder Gisselman?
Yes, thank you. As long as we're talking about the apartments, what about first floor development? Is that progress being made also then, as the apartments are being made?
We can ask Nick so probably a good question is in general about the commercial spaces down there, and also, kind of to what level do you finish those if you don't have a tenant quite ready yet?
Yeah, sure. So we intend to finish those. There'll be gray box, which is basically you'll see before a tenant were to move in, how we'll provide it is it'll gray box. So you'll have concrete floor. We'll have the studs in, but not drywall, and then we'll have electric to each space. We'll have HVAC to each space. We'll have general lighting to each space, and then the tenant would be responsible for distribution of the HVAC and also the electrical distribution. If they want specific rooms built out or anything, they'd be responsible for distribution of the electrical to those different rooms and outlets, etc. But I don't expect a delay on the commercial side. It was more so the countertops really threw a wrench into things because that delayed some of the trades. But no, other than that, it's going along smoothly, and we've recently signed Peter Kraus Fitness, the operator of our fitness center. He has a number of locations around the Madison area. He's been expanding elsewhere. I'm not sure all of his newer locations now, but great operator, and it's an added amenity for the building too. More of a not your typical apartment style fitness center. It's more of a club level fitness center, so a little higher end. And then we're also talking to. I just had a new hair salon reach out to me today, actually. So still having decent interest in the retail and continue to make headway there.
Take care. Yeah, thank you. Oh,
Any other? Oh, Alder Henke.
Thank you. And as chair of INF, I should probably know this, but the street opening up both ways, do you guys know? Or I can ask tomorrow too.
I think for both so currently right now it's in the old configuration where one way is converging on Third, and I want to say it's going to be a little bit before they open up completely to two-way traffic. I think they want to make sure that the building facade on the north side is complete, and therefore the contractors don't need to access that area. So, but yes, INF might have a better update than I would.
Okay,
so,
thanks.
yeah.
Any other questions on item number 3? Okay. Then we'll go ahead and move on to agenda item number 4, discussion and possible action on approval of the Second Amendment to the development agreement with Foundry on Third, Phase 1 LLC.
Yep.
ED Manager Lynch.
Yes, thank you. So as we saw, there's a lot of great progress, and as Nick told us, they're really moving along. He did highlight some supply chain issues they've had, and with a project this big, that's honestly probably not unusual. So they've requested to extend the completion date on the development agreement from November 1st to December 31st of this year. And I can tell you, I think they've been working really hard on the place. I think you can go down there any weekend and see that there's still people outside on the scaffolding getting brick up or the exterior finished. So, I think this is more of a issue that's been out of their hands. So, really, looking at that one change in the development agreement, from a city perspective, it does not change, the valuation of the TID or anything like that. That snapshot for assessed value is taken on January 1st. So, I think this is a appropriate change to make. In your packet as well, there is a letter from the Foundry on Third from Nick requesting that change and highlighting some of their supply chain issues. And then we also included the original development agreement from September of 2022, the first amendment from August of 2023, and the addendum from April of 2024. We had kind of a discussion because right offhand we couldn't figure out what amendment number this was, but the addendum was a bit of the change in there. So this is the second amendment to the development agreement. So are there any questions on that?
Okay, Alder
Oh, yeah,
Killian.
there we go.
I think my questions have been answered, but just for the sake of the public, I just wanted them to know that I did speak with Mr. Lynch today, and I wanted him to verify that the issues we were dealing with were indeed supply chain issues and tariff-related problems. And as you can tell from the video, that was reinforced as well. In that case, I would certainly support this amendment. I understand that there will be I did ask if there was another amendment that we would be seeing, and Mr. Lynch indicated that it would just be a date change on the current amendment, and that document would be prepared when it's presented to council for their approval. I also asked Mr. Lynch if he was aware of any other issues that might come to us as concerns as far as delays, and he did talk about the developer wishing they had a tenant prior to doing the build-outs, but that again was talked about in the video. So I will support this amendment, but I did indicate that I will not support any additional amendments or date changes beyond December 31st, and he indicated to me that he would not either do that. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Alder Tierney.
Thank you. When you had said this won't affect the TID because of the valuation on January 1st.
I can expand on that a bit.
Yes, please.
Sure thing. So in our development agreement, we have a certain number of TID payments from the TID to the developer. And, you know, that is, and we require them to hit certain metrics, you know, construction value, assessed value. So the assessed value for any property is done with a snapshot on January 1st. And that'll assess the amount for the previous year. So January 1st, 2026, you know, what's it worth today? And that'll determine the tax amount for 2025. So our requirement is that the project is complete by the end of this year if the change goes through. And that project completion requires occupancy permits, so the building is complete and done and can be assessed at its full value. So that is kind of the linchpin there to, you know, I'm sure, you know, T-Wall wants to get this going, get people in there, rents coming in, and, you know, get the next phase of this all started as well, so.
I'm a little concerned that there looks to be a lot of work to be done in 6 months. So if they don't make that December 31st deadline, and I too will not approve another amendment. So what happens if they don't make that deadline?
Well, so if they would be in default of the development agreement, I think, Ann?
Yes, I believe Andy touched on that. If they came back for another request for an extension deadline and it were not approved by council, then they would be in default of the development agreement.
Okay. Okay, that answers my questions. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Alder Gisselman.
Yes, thank you. So what does complete mean? I mean,
Great question.
because that can mean a variety of things. It can mean that 5 apartments are complete, it's rented, but yet the rest of the building is not complete. And I haven't read but maybe you have an answer.
Yep. So in our original development agreement back in '22, there's a definition there of what project completion means, and that is the occupancy permit has been issued by the appropriate government body. So in that case, they would need to obtain an occupancy certificate for the building. So everything is done at a level that people can inhabit it.
So it is complete,
Yes.
so that 100% of the apartments can be occupied.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Just a further note, I have always voted no against this project almost from day one, so I will continue to be voting no on this project. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to add that it's letter P on page 3 of the original development agreement, that's listed in case you want to see. I just looked it up here about the completion. Any other questions? Oh, Alder Hinkie.
Yeah, thanks. I believe I made some comment about no more amendments on the last amendment, and there was more for them to break ground. So now that we're so close to completion, I will continue to support pushing this time back until the end of the month, or end of the year, sorry. I guess one question, can it be appraised before it's 100, like if it's 80% complete, would it have an appraised value then? Or would the value be zero because it isn't?
I think Director Pfeiffer has
So
an answer.
even this last year, there was a partial assessment done for what was completed at that point. So January 1 of 2025, there was an assessment completed for the work that was done at that level. It wouldn't be zero.
Yeah.
You know, in our interest and the way the development agreement's built out, it's reliant on the project being complete. So there's full valuation of the project and the property.
All right, thank you. I guess I'll move to approve the second amendment to the development agreement with Foundry on Third.
Okay, thank you. And looking for a second. Motion by Hinkie, second by Alder Killian. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Oh, okay, so 3 in favor, 2 opposed, is that correct? Okay. Then that motion passes. Thank you. Then we will move on to agenda item number 5, discussion and possible action on consent to transfer, waiver of right of first refusal, termination of recorded deed restrictions, and recording set of revised deed restrictions for 840 South 66th Avenue. ED Manager Lynch.
Thank you. So this is a property that is on 66th Avenue, accessed off of Packard Drive, so it's south of Highway 29. And it's an industrial property. It has an offer to sell on it. And over as I noted in the memo, over the last 4 years, as these properties in the business campus come up for sale, we're modifying the deed restrictions that are on those. And the original set of deed restrictions on there are more geared towards an empty lot going to something that's built, whereas now there's something built on there. And, we just want to make sure that the city's interests are still protected. So there's an offer to buy from 4Gen Enterprises to RSAI Flash 01. And in your packet, there's what do we have here? There's a request by Robert Fleshtinsky for the city to exercise the right of first refusal, and then also a note that he did accept the new deed restrictions, and so we're looking for we're looking for committee approval on this to take it to council and get our part of the sale of this property completed. So.
Okay, thank you. Questions by committee members? No questions? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent to transfer waiver of right of first refusal, termination of recorded deed restrictions, and recording set of revised deed restrictions for 840 South 66th Avenue.
Make a motion to accept.
Okay, thank you. Alder Tierney, motion by Alder Tierney, second by
Okay.
Alder Killian. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 6, discussion and possible action on approval and release of the request for interest for North 2nd Street development. Again, ED Manager Lynch.
Should just get a bar stool up here. Oh, sure. I'll sure try. I like to move sometimes. So as committee members may recall, at our May meeting, we discussed the RFI, or request for interest document for North 2nd Street area. And at that time, wanted to get you familiar with the document and get some of your initial reactions as well. The plan at that time was to go out for a public input from the neighbors and do that in May and bring it back to you in June. We had some scheduling conflicts, so we just pushed that a month. And we had the public input meeting on June 16th at the public library. In your packet, I have a map there showing where we distributed the flyers for this meeting. So they went on every house in that area. They went to every business in that area. And then I was able to post them in the common areas of trolley quarters and atrium lofts, as well as leave them out as for distribution there as well. So on June 16th, we had a meeting at the public library, and the flyer that's in the packet, I handed out the actual version of it. I accidentally put an old version in, so. We had a really great meeting. There was 14 participants, and we had 9 responses from that. We had 1 response from email later, and it was a really engaging conversation. A lot of questions asked, a lot of different types of questions asked, and I think a lot of that conversation was really well captured with the feedback forms. So we had 9 people fill out the feedback forms, and it was really helpful for getting some context and understanding of the area and how people felt about their area as well. Some of the immediate impressions from that feedback information, which I also included in the packet. Some of those questions I was able to do more of a count on. Some of it felt it was more important to keep the text that was written on there. So, but they noted a desire for an inclusion of a commercial space of some sort, so it's not strictly residential. Housing priced, and this was whether it was for sale or for rent, would be. They were looking at market rate or a mix of incomes, but not strictly income qualified. They were maintaining some level of access on 2nd Street. So there were suggestions more along the line of either a narrower street or perhaps one way. And continue to support the parking for 3rd Street businesses. That's currently, right now, that parking is come on the backside of a couple lots off of the alley. And so they still wanted to see that there's some parking for those businesses. And really the biggest thing that came out of that was a development that fit into the neighborhood and had a historic type of appearance, as I kind of defined it as brick and siding. And I'll define modern as more glass. So it's really more of a traditional kind of appearance with many of the houses that you'd see on 3rd and 2nd Street. That was something that they felt very strongly about. They want something that was really looked like it fit into the neighborhood. So we took those suggestions. We took the committee's suggestions as well. And we incorporated those into the RFI document, whether it was adding historic as a descriptive term in many places. And I took those immediate impressions and included those in the public input section of that document. And then we also changed the scoring criteria to include reflects public input and increase the points on that. So I was really glad we were able to do that and get that input. I think it was really a nice way to kind of come back in that area. Like I think I'd mentioned before, the last time that area had really kind of been looked at was at the 2015 East Riverfront Brownfield Plan, and that was kind of gave some ideas, but obviously, we've had a lot of change in the market and everything since then. And so it was good to get some more public input on that. I think we have a stronger document for it, and I think ultimately what I'm hoping is that we get something that's more reflective of that public input. So we're looking for approval of the RFI document and for its release. And we'd go ahead and advertise that timeline-wise. Probably looking at releasing it next week, so we're not running into a holiday weekend here. It's in there that the proposals must be received by August 15th, and we kind of time that to give staff some time to score those, and then we would have time to get those into the packet for the September ED meeting. At which point, it'll be kind of up to this committee to take a look at those and see if we kind of got any proposals that meet with what we've proposed in the document, and how well they fit in the from the input. And we can also seek more information from certain proposals, or if we feel we really didn't get something that worked, we can go back to the drawing board on the RFI or choose a different path. So one of the reasons we've kind of started gravitating toward the RFI document instead of a request for a proposal, RFP, is it's a little less work put in by a developer. They're not trying to give you a full-fledged version of a development. It's more gives they're more showing us what they can do and their past qualifications, and then we have kind of more flexibility as staff or as a committee to be able to work with them on kind of shaping that proposal going forward. So happy to answer any questions about this.
Any questions? Okay, so Alder Tierney?
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When are you thinking of actually breaking ground on a project like this, or what are your hopes?
Kind of given the timing of this, and it's wide open, right?
Ballpark, yeah.
But I think you could kind of look at that. You might be looking at spring next year, because depending on how long approvals take. I mean, if we get a stellar proposal, and this committee loves it and wants to run with it, and it just hits all the boxes. Maybe it could happen this year yet, but it could very well take into next year to formally break ground, I guess. And that's really just a guess.
Yeah. What concerns me about that is we are going to be doing a project on Thomas and Grand that hasn't started yet.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing a project down on Stewart. We're doing several building projects that include housing, apartments, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned about how many of these projects are going on at the same time, the cost to the city, getting these filled with residents. So I'm concerned.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Tierney. Alder Killian?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Andrew, I had requested previously that you put public comments into your point system for rating, and I was very appreciative to see that that was there because it's such a critical factor in our process. The one concern I have is when you look at the price point of homes in that area currently, and you say you're going to be building homes of market rate, I mean, what does that mean? Because we all know that the market right now on home prices is relatively extravagant. So when you're talking about market rate homes, what are we talking about building there?
Well, that would be the developer that's building them. We're, kind of facilitating that. That was something that I was kind of surprised with as well from the public input. But there was a few responses that were kind of more interested in that, or at least a mix of income levels. So we do have to have an element of it that is income qualified because we use CDBG funds to purchase one of the lots. But whether that's a certain percentage that's income qualified or more of that, and the rest is market rate. Again, that is something that I think we can see in the proposals, and if we want to pursue further with a particular proposal, seeing if we can adjust those numbers in a manner that is more conducive to neighborhood, or I kind of whatever. We're giving ourselves some flexibility and some options here, really.
Okay, because when you look at the current price point of properties there, I think it's going to be a little difficult to start putting up homes, and I know they want homes, but putting up homes that are market rate, finding out from the developer that is accepted, specifically what they're thinking about in that price range, I would really like to know that.
So that's something we can definitely ask when the proposals come in and kind of see what they're thinking with that. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Other questions? Alder Gisselman.
Thank you. This Old Town neighborhood, I think, is kind of a cool neighborhood. I think the neighbors were really spoke very well in their comments, and I think and my question is, what every resident of Atrium as well as Trolley received a survey, or was it?
Right. So I had access to the common areas, and so I was able to put them up on. There was a
But not
couple-
every resident itself got.
I did not go door to door in an apartment building.
That was my question.
Yeah.
But I think what the responses was that, the respondents saw themselves as part of the neighborhood. And there may be some rentals in here. With both apartment houses, there are rentals, but I think they still saw themselves as part of a neighborhood. And I think some of the comments, their concerns, especially the email, the DeKalb and Second Street area has a chance to be something special, a place that feels like it belongs. What I don't want is another development that doesn't fit the character of the area. We already have seen that can turn out, and it doesn't do much for the neighborhood. And I think that that's what I will be looking for, because I think that this is a unique area. I think the residents that showed up, as well as some of the business owners. I spoke to a resident of the Atrium, and he was quite enthused about some ideas that, and he himself saw himself as quite a neighborhood. He works in the neighborhood. He's proud of the neighborhood. He wants to see it developed. And I think that as we go forth, I think that we should see this as a special neighborhood. I think the comments are reflective of that, and I certainly would like to see that happen. Certain things, certain developments in this city don't fit into the neighborhood, and I think once and for all we should find a way that makes sure that developments do fit and not plop something into a neighborhood that doesn't belong. And I look forward to seeing what kind of results we get from this response. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for coming to the public input meeting as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Alder Gisselman. Any others? Alder Henke?
Thank you. I don't want to disagree with you, Andrew, but I'll respectfully disagree with you as far as the timeline. I've been on this committee now for 3.5 years. I'd be shocked if we were breaking ground within the next 3 years. I see this as like a 4-year-old project, and I don't see a whole lot of projects in the hopper that far down the road, and I'm just going off of my track record on this committee, so I'm really interested to see what we get back here from this request. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Henke. Director Pfeiffer.
Yeah, and I think I'll probably split the difference between Alder Hanke and Manager Lynch on it. I think in all likelihood, what I would expect is that in a best case scenario, we're going to break ground next fall. More likelihood, depending on what we see back from proposals, you may be looking at the spring of 27, but I don't anticipate anything being breaking ground at this time next year. I don't have great amount of patience and would love to see things move faster in the process, but there is a tremendous process involved with redevelopment properties. We have environmental, we have utilities, we have site design, we're going to have zoning, we're going to have a lot of different things taking place to get something from concept, where we're not even at concept today, but to getting to an actual point where we're breaking ground. So in all likelihood, you're talking 12 to 18 months, I think.
So I'll take the under on that then. So
I also really enjoyed reading the feedback from the residents, the input, and really liked the feedback about having a variety of, different faces on the buildings and things like that. So I too will be interested to see what comes back. We'll see.
yeah.
Any other questions by committee members, comments, questions? Oh, Alder Henke?
Thank you. I'll take the over, and I'll move to approve the request for interest and release it and get it out.
Okay, motion by Alder Henke, looking for a second by Alder Tierney. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay, then that is approved. Then next up, item number 7 is adjournment. So looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, by Alder Henke, right? And then second by Alder Tierney. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and we are adjourned. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everyone.